Most cards in Hearthstone all have their place and their perfect moments, but some are about as useful as a Murloc in a spelling test. I'm Aski and here are my top 10 worst cards in Hearthstone. Coming in as the best of a bad bunch is the Stone Tuskball. An Elven Archer can do the same damage without potentially killing itself in the process, and almost every other 1-drop has a better stat line. This card's only saving grace is that it's a beast, so maybe, just maybe, it might work out in a hunter deck. In at number 9 and at the other end of the scale of useless beasts is the Hound. While it's boasting some fantastic damage, with just 5 health in the late game it means it's going to die very easily and is a great way to just waste a turn. Next up we have the Frostwolf Grunt. This 2/2 taunt is about as difficult to get through as a paper shield and gets crushed by any 2/3 minions on the same turn. There are plenty of better 2 mana cards to pick from, so just avoid this one. Taking the 7th spot is the Ironforge Rifleman. This card costs 3 mana and essentially just gains 2 stats over the 1 mana Elven Archer with the same battle cry, and by turn 3 a 2/2 doesn't trade well for anything. At number 6 is the Bloodsail Corsair. Now there are a lot of pirates fighting out for a place in this list, but the Corsair is the worst. His battle cry might have the occasional moment of glory, but it's certainly not going to happen on turn 1, and with only 1 damage and 2 health, the Corsair will be booted off the board without a second thought. As we enter our top 5, the cards start to get really bad, and leading the way is the Silverback Patriarch. This useless monkey has to be the worst taunt in the game. Not only are his chances of getting a kill so low you might as well just skip the turn, but his 4 health isn't even enough to slow down your opponent. At least for 1 mana more you could get a Mogoshan Warden, who will at least buy you a turn before he gets beaten down. In at number 4 is a card that's only kept off the top spot by its 1 in every 100 games where he wins you the match. Millhouse Manastorm might seem incredible, a 4/4 for 2 mana is a deadly opener if you manage to coin him out on turn 1, but seeing as he gives your opponent 3 spells for their next turn, it could just as easily cost you the whole game as your opponent either hits you in the face with a Pyroblast, buffs minions out of control, or simply removes Millhouse from the board at no cost. As we enter our top 3 we have a card that was widely thought of to be the worst in the game, and was my belief as well until I sat down to make this list. The Angry Chicken has one of the most powerful enraged card techs in the game at plus 5 damage, but with just 1 hit point he's completely reliant on getting a health buff to be any good at all. At number 2 we have the Whisk. The only use of this card I can think is in a rogue deck when it could be used for some combo synergy for 0 cost. However, of all the cards in the game, this is probably the most useless to draw in the late game and will essentially instantly lose you the match. At 0 mana cost, the card might seem like a good idea on paper, but it's taking up a spot on your deck that can be filled with almost any better card. And our top spot? Well, it was hard fought, and to be fair, in the right moment any of these cards could have taken it, but it goes to a card with a stat line so bad, if you even look at it funny it will fall over. A card which is the equivalent of a very angry chihuahua. It might look a little bit nasty and have a bit of a tough bite, but you know if it came for you could boot it over the fence. It can only be the Magma Rager. Now, once upon a time this card worked okay with the Warsong Commander before it had a max damage put on its card text, but now it's next to useless. Any minion trades well against it, even a Whisk, and while 5 damage might seem great, the odds of you actually getting that off are very low. You need to have your opponent having nothing on the board, and they need to have no form of direct damage in their hand, and they can't be one of the heroes who can simply deal 1 damage and remove it. So that's my 10 worst Hearthstone cards, but what are yours? Let us know in the comments. If you want to know more about Hearthstone, check out hearthstone.gamepedia.com. The link is in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but for now I've been Aski, and thank you for watching.